Hi, it's Murray. I'm stepping back from my usual routine of posting a wee tune or a song, and instead I'm going to give you my thoughts on using this device, which is a Shub partial capo. Now I'm doing this for some of my friends in the real world, and I guess other friends out there in cyberspace will come across me. Now, I should warn you that my thoughts on partial capo seem to be a wee bit different from anything I've found on the internet. Now, not to discredit what anybody else is saying about how to use these things, that's just fine, but I think you'll find what I've got to say about these is probably a bit radical and a bit different. My experience of these is that I use them and people see me using them and come up to me and say, "What's that?" And I say, "It's a partial capo." And they say, "I like that." And they go out and buy one. Then the next time I see them, they say, "I couldn't really work out how to use that." So in this video, I'm going to do my best to explain how I make sense of the thing. The clue is in the name, capo. Now you've probably noticed that I'm pronouncing the word capo rather than capo. Now, I fully understand why people pronounce the word capo. I mean, there's only one P in it, and in English you need two P's to make it capo, so I guess it's capo. I'm old enough to remember capo is actually an Italian word. Think the Godfather movie. Capo in Italian means head, and the full name for this guitar device is capotasto or capodastra, which translates as, and this is important, head of the fretboard. In other words, the nut. So the capo is a nut. It is in fact a movable nut. I'm going to keep things really simple in this video. I'm going to place a capo at the second fret, and to keep things even simpler, I'm only going to play things in D shapes, or D voicings if you like. Because, let me explain, if I play a D chord, we all know that it's not sounding like a D chord, it's sounding like an E chord. You know, we've raised the pitch of the strings, but put that out of your mind for the minute. That's actually confusing rather than helpful, I think. If I'm playing in D voicings, I'm playing in D voicings. That's all there is to it. You can do the transposing later. And I also found a wee trick years ago with these, and you need to have one of these Shub style capos to do it. You can place it across, place it across only some of the strings. You can leave the bottom string open. You'll notice I do a lot of retuning. Don't let anybody tell you that you can put a capo and not have to retune. You can only do that with a capo that's applied really lightly, like maybe a G7 capo, or maybe, I've never had one, or one of the traditional kind of stirrup capos. But if you try and apply these things really lightly, if you just happen to knock the lever slightly with your finger, the whole thing flies off. So you need to put these on. I find you need to put these on really firmly. But this wee trick I found leaves this string open. Now, I know it's E, but relatively speaking it's D. So you get this sort of, some people call the fake drop D effect. You know, works really nicely. And then Shub came up with the partial capo. Now the partial capo leaves three strings uncovered. That's the bottom one and the top two. Now that means, relatively speaking, if you can actually play a D chord, but you can play a D power chord, which is like the D and the A without the F sharp. You need to know what notes in your chords, by the way. So some people describe this as fake dadgad. You know, so relatively speaking, the strings would be D, A, D, G, A, D. which is a sus chord, and you might like the sound of that anyway. Perhaps more interesting than that, when you tune like that, is if you fret your third string at the second fret, you make relatively that G into an A, so the notes now become D, A, D. A, D, D. Oh, D's and A's. And you can use that as a D chord. If you really want the D major, put an F sharp into it. If you want to put an F natural into it, it becomes D minor. Bingo. Let's go back to that basic folksy sounding power chord. You can either turn the G string into an A, or you can a D. It's still D's and A's. And you start to sound like that amazing dadgad sort of guitar break that Al Stewart played in the track Nostradamus, which, as I recall, is on the album Past, Present and Future. More interesting to me, actually, because if you follow my work, you'll see that I tend to play dulcimers as much as guitars. You've effectively turned the guitar into a dulcimer. Let me show you. And here's an Appalachian dulcimer. The strings are tuned D, A, D. So there you've got your power chord. So just like the guitar, you can play wee tunes on the melody string. And you'll find that it sounds okay. You're not playing any chords at all because the notes sound, to be honest, pretty fine just against the drones. And some people play dulcimers just like that. You know, they go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And you just... And you can do this with the guitar, as I'll show you again in a second. But of course you can also play chords, and like you can on a dulcimer. So for example, there's a D major chord, there's a B minor, G, lovely and folky. I'll get back to the guitar now. Right, we've got the partial capo on the guitar, second fret, exposing the bottom string, the top string and the second string. And we're going to get on to the point where people like to talk about interesting voicings. Well, you've got interesting voicings right away if you just... You might quite like that. That's I'm playing it's a D sus, and of course it's sounding like E sus, but we're not going to worry about that because I think of this as the nut, but kind of different thing from the nut. And the nut in this case is a capo, indeed a broken or partial capo. So let's look at interesting voicings. Now the truth is, and this is crucial, extra notes you've got to play with, you've only got two actually. You've got what we could call a D, what we could call an A, and then a lower D. That's it. So let's look at the chords that you might play. You play a D chord as you always have done, I suppose. In fact, you play a D minor the way you always have done as well. And you've just got the advantage, I mean, you're overriding the missing bit in the capo there, but you're using the D in the bass, which is quite useful. What else you can do is more interesting. You can play a D power chord, in other words, neither major nor minor. In other words, the notes are D, A, D, A, just D's and A's, no F sharp. Which is a bit like what you get on a dulcimer, or indeed, actually, I should say, on an Indian sitar as well. An Indian sitar, if you tune it in D, which you can do, indeed, I do. I think Ravi Shankar preferred something in the region of C sharp, but it's another matter. Okay. Top strings on a sitar. if you forget the sympathetic ones that do their own thing, you've got 4 drone strings on the top of the sitar, and they're tuned D, A, D, A. What a surprise. And then what you would call the melody or playing string would be tuned to G. Good grief, sounds a bit like Dadgad. Well, it is. Sitar's like a dulcimer. Yeah. And it's like a guitar, the way we've just tuned it. So let's look at what we can do with that. You can play against the drones as in a dulcimer, and that's always quite powerful if you do that at some point during a tune. Just play against the drones and like in a dulcimer, everything says. It's quite nice just to do that. If you want a D major bar, I should just mention, you can either just put it sharp on the top string, or you can put it on there. But I think the trick in using a partial capo, like an actual Dadgad, is thinking notes, not just chords. You need to know the scale that you're using. And any scale has only got 7 different notes in it, and the 8th one's back to where you started. So D major would be like D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then you're back to D again. What happens if you play what else do you look for in D major? A G chord. Well, you can do that thing that I can't do, because if it was a popular chord ever and I don't play it, you know that thing? Oh, I hate that. And I just never got the muscle memory for that. If I ever do that, I'll do it another way. Ooh, that hurt. How about playing a G in a nice easy way? How about playing the G note on the bass string? How about deadening the next one with the flesh of your finger? Oh, does that sound nice? Well, that's actually a D with an A in it, sorry, a G I should say, with an A in it. In other words, G plus 9 if you want to give it a name. And you can certainly play that. In fact, let me do a wee turn around between the D drone chord and that G plus 9. Let's try that. Sounds quite pretty. Now, you start putting linking notes in. Which notes do you put in? Well, any note you like, as long as it's in that scale. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. How about an A chord? Oh, you access to this really powerful A no third, or if you like, A power chord, because you've effectively got that open A on that string now. I mean, you can still play major if you want to, but I usually don't, to be honest. So, you look at the 3 main chords in that in D now. D, play G as the plus 9. Play the A chord. Put a few linking notes in, sounds lovely. Start experimenting. I think this could be endless. I discovered this chord, which I thought was lovely. What is it? When you look at the notes, it's actually a D with a G in it. D, E, F, G. So it's this chord. It's a D sus4, and we're used to playing it like, you know, that, and pinky in the top string. So if you use another inversion, if you use the same notes in a different order, you end up with this, which looks like a bit of a C chord. You know, that'd be the full C shape. You know, 2 frets up. If you use that shape there, so let's play with that. All these shapes are movable as well, which is always interesting. From the sort of D position to the C position. The other chords will come across in D major will be like B minor, and to be honest, if you want the full thing, just play the thing as usual. I tend not. I tend to and put other notes into that as well. The E minor, some people say leave your partial capo further from the fret so you can jam your finger in. I tend to think, why not just put it around? Quite easy actually, and it's not going to slip out of place. It's got the capo to kind of hold on to. So that's the way to play an E minor if you want the full thing. But again, lots of options with E minor. Sharp minor, again you can override the capo if you want to. C sharp diminished or partial diminished, that always freaks me out as the kind of funny name for the last chord in the series various scale, but on the ground it just looks like an A7. I'm going to play it that way, so just kind of do that. So that's, in a way, that's it. So I'll give it a little bit of a whittle now. Remember you play harmonics, open harmonics, that they're going to be at the 12th fret and the uncovered strings and 14th fret on that one. So. Bluesy with it as well, you know. I'll leave you with this in this way. You can play slide with this as well, because I've noticed that because the way capos work, capoed action is lower than nut action. So your bottom string and your top two are a little bit higher off the fretboard, which theoretically should give you a cleaner attack on top couple of strings, certainly. And of course that means you can combine slide notes with the interesting chord voicings rather than just being stuck in an open tuning, which is kind of limiting. notice I speak quite a lot about notes rather than just chords. I think you just need to know the scale, you know, the 7 notes that you can play. It kind of changes everything. I thoroughly recommend going to a website called www.looknohands.com. Marvellous, totally free resource that gives you all the information. If you go there, go to the advanced guitar section. It's not that advanced, honestly, it's dead easy. And it will give you all the information you could possibly need about all the different scales and the notes that are in them and just everything else really. Beyond that, if you've got a scale and, you know, D major, C major, A minor, whatever, and you're looking for chords to accompany each note in that scale, go to Google and type in 3 things. For example, D major chords. And like magic, all the information that you'll ever want to just come up in front of you. So similarly, A minor chords, you know, with the space between them, and bingo, it's all absolutely there. Now, do let me know, please, in the comment section, if any of this rather rambling, longer than I expected video is any kind of use to you. I do hope it kind of helps. And also let me know if there's anything else I could either tell you more about, demonstrate more of, or even something I could explain again and speak more slowly because I've got a funny accent. Just let me know. Or indeed, if you'd like me to put together a video where I actually do go down the rabbit hole with partial capos, you know, using 2 capos at the same time, using drop D tuning and a partial capo, all these kind of things that seem a bit weird and freaky. Good fun. And once you've got this basic concept, really quite simple. Let me know if you want to know anything about that. The key thing for my view of all this is that the capo is the head of the fretboard, i.e. it's a nut. It's a movable nut, and when you play this, it's just like playing a guitar where the nut's been cut away and 3 of the strings are set a bit further back. Nobody seems to think about it that way. Maybe I'm weird, or just Scottish.